Walked up and look at this magnificent, beautiful creature. Yeah. Hi. Hello. Shouldn't be eating that. Are you trying to say you want to go riding?
Chill. You're fine. You're a pushy girl, aren't you? Huh?
Basically, what I was trying to do, that's, I guess,
You need a hand, Kevin?
this is useful.
I'll just stay useless as you always.
You can actually maybe.
This one is available for adoption.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
She's beautiful. Java.
That's Java. Wow, she's gorgeous. Looks like she's very healthy and good shape.
She's literate in computer as well, right?
Yeah.
Java code.
Java
JavaScript.
code. Thank you. But so you see, Dr. Mike is very funny. Got a great personality.
I got the first one done. Oh, yeah.
You do really well.
Took a while. 'Cause that thing has been sitting in our garage for like 10 years.
And you can see the other one that they need to work on. It's almost like clipping a toenail. So today at the horse veterinarian, where my friend's wife works, Allie, you can see they have a specialist here. He's brought his saw, right? And then he had to shave off, cut off some of the hooves that the horses that were brought in were not being well taken care of.
How does it look to you?
Allie, show me what they cut off. So, and let's just tell people when a horse is out taken care of and have their shoes, right?
Yeah.
So that's like having a giant toenail.
Yep. Overgrown.
So then there must be a lot of pressure on their legs when they can't walk.
Yeah, and because horses are already fragile when it comes to how their legs are constructed.
Yeah.
Because it's 1,000 pounds standing on toothpicks, essentially.
Yeah.
This just stresses the system even more.
Because you can't even walk level, right? Because you got those things.
Right, yeah, like
So
look
the-
at her foot. She's not even straight anymore.
So what are some of the effects that happen to the horse's legs, posture?
You can bow tendons, they can get laminitis, they can, the coffin bone can rotate in their foot. It can cause all sorts of problems.
Wow. Poor guy. So that's kind of a form of abuse, really, if you don't take care of him.
Absolutely, yes.
This is a really conservative start for removing the wall for this horse.
I just saw the doctor just solved that off, basically.
Right. He's going to get closer and closer with the saw, and then I'll get in there with my tools and kind of get a little closer, get a little more accurate.
Right. Everybody, I've just been blessed that Mike, the veterinarian of this beautiful horse ranch, veterinarian ranch. Mike, could you say hello to everybody and just tell us a little bit about you? And
How's it going? Got my shot there.
you've been a veterinarian for 25 years here in
25 years.
Tucson.
Correct. Yeah, I graduated in '93. Cool thing is actually, as soon as I graduated, my first job was here, and I worked here for a couple of years. It was owned by another veterinarian at the time.
Could I ask how old you were?
What was that? 27? Yeah.
And this is like a calling
I
for
had
you.
some hair coming
had
back
one?
then. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of hair envy of you, by the way.
Right. I can't whine. Yeah, it's a calling. Had a lot of exposure. Worked on ranches. Always had horses. It's always been
Wow.
a job.
Yeah.
Ironically, never for fun. Always a job. So just have done that my whole life. but they are fun, right?
Yes,
So it works
yes.
out well. So, yeah, for sure.
And so right now we see a situation. I saw 3 horses here that have their hooves. What would you call that? Is there a technical term of that? Where they almost look like
just
toenails massively overgrown.
There's not a specific technical term for it other than just massive abuse leading to massive overgrowth because they've been confined. In nature, this would never happen because they'd actually get a chance to move around enough to wear them off to some degree. The classic problem with it is that it leads to laminitis, which is a problem with the connection between it's like the quick of our nails, and that is important because they walk on their nails, and then there's so many abnormal forces that it causes it to stretch and become inflamed all the time. And the bone within the coffin bone ends up rotating relative to the hoof wall. So we end up with a chronic problem. So, but yeah, this whole thing is, I've been a veterinarian for a while, but this is a side thing. This is a nonprofit that we started to rescue horses. The big difference with this one compared to, there's a lot of horse rescues, but it's very uncommon to have a vet involved with this from the beginning.
Okay.
So this has been, it's just a really awesome experience because here we are working with this horse, and instead of a vet being involved when things go bad, months down the road, instead of after a GoFundMe project to get a vet to come out and do x-rays and all this kind of stuff, we can do this from the beginning.
Oh, that's interesting.
So this is unique and it's really cool, and I'm able to just get lots of drugs and sedate her and work with her, and we'll do lots of x-rays as we're going through it.
Some of my friends, some of my listeners, some of my audience somehow find you guys on the website, and can they make a donation?
Of course, please.
Oh, I didn't know that. Can you tell them where they go, where they can go?
Yeah, it's S.A.V.E.R, which is Southern Arizona Veterinary Equine Rescue. Okay. Which is really unique.
Southern Arizona Equine Rescue.
Southern Arizona Veterinary
Equine Rescue. I want to make sure that's clear for them.
Yeah, S.A.V.E.R.
Okay, great.
So we do have a website up. It's new. We had one rescue that we've had about 2 months, and that one, she's a beautiful mare.
I'm just going to show them a little picture of the place while you're talking. Go ahead.
That we saved from euthanasia, and we're going to get her placed very soon. And then these other 3 have just happened this last week.
Yeah.
This one also we need to get a good home for.
Okay.
And he potential euthanasia. I think his condition's a bit more mild.
Okay.
But then these 2 were legally confiscated from an abuse situation. So, and that's from me working with law enforcement. And that's a cool thing to plug real quick is the Animal Cruelty Task Force. Arizona is very progressive. Not in many things, but when it comes to animal abuse and legislation, we are. Mike Duffy was a pioneer in making animal cruelty a felony, and so it's been a model for many states around the country. It's starting to grow, which is really cool. Right.
So what's going to happen now? Is she still working on them? She's awesome.
Yeah, come on.
I'd like to go watch. Okay.
Yeah, so we're continuing. So I'm going to give her some more drugs.
Okay.
Because she's uncomfortable with, and we're actually using the Sawzall now because they're so long. Yeah, you should come watch.
Well,
Stay tuned.
Come along with us, everybody. This will be interesting. With Gene, and Gene was a specialist that was working on the horse's hooves. Do I just call them hooves?
That's right. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you had to do this morning, because it seemed like a very laborious job that you were doing.
Well, the horse had a lot of extra growth, and so we wanted to relieve the horse of that to relieve any more lateral forces to the bony column.
Right.
And then we're going to take some x-rays and see and really dial it down and give the horse what it needs in terms of angles and relieving pressure and things like that. That's right. This horse clearly lacked a lot of basic daily or weekly maintenance that any horse owner would do for their horse in a captive environment. The horses can't wear their feet off naturally when they're in a stall, and it's our duty to help them by keeping up with a regular trim schedule. You have to know a lot about anatomy, and you have to, really take into consideration the horse's age, any underlying pathologies that may be going on, and different things like that, and just try to promote comfortable movement.
Right.
Movement equals healing.
Well, to see the before and after is really amazing. I'm going to see if I can show my friends any of that on their feet. It's just really, really something. I mean, just to see how well you did with that is something. So we'll continue to watch and ask questions if you don't mind.
Sure. This is just one stage, and the hooves will look a lot better in a few weeks.
Allie, who works with Dr. Mike,
$25,000 drop.
who helps them out with all kinds of surgeries and outpatient or out calls for the animals. And so what are you doing right now, Allie?
I am setting up the x-ray machine.
Setting up the x-ray machine. So, Dr. Mike, you're going to be taking x-rays of...
Yeah, exactly. So as we continue to debride, to remove the excessive hoof, it's important to know where the vital structures start, where the
Right.
blood starts, where the bone is, et cetera, that type of thing. So right now in the immediate future, it's important, but also in the longer term, for the ultimate recovery, it's going to be critical to know about management and documentation also. So yes, yeah.
Well, they're in great hands. I'm glad to see them here at the ranch.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, but the cool thing I was starting to say before is that there's really not much of a safety net for these guys. And there's also a really other important and kind of sad component, which is sometimes the people without money, it's really common for them to rescue horses, and they get swapped from people to people, and they can't afford them themselves. And they don't. It's one thing to rescue a dog, because it's pretty easy to feed them, but to rescue a horse, people don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And they are so, like we were talking about earlier, there's that calm, that stillness. So people that aren't calm and still are drawn to them, and it creates this really bad situation sometimes.
That's an interesting
So these guys
observation.
actually didn't bring that into it. These are part of a hoarding situation. I've heard they had up to 24 horses. But, yeah, they're such beautiful animals, but what we love about them is their freedom and their movement. And when we rob them of that, this happens.
So in your 25 years, 25
25?
that you said earlier, what can we do? What can the consumer do? What can people who love animals,
Be involved with rescues. I mean, it's not just a matter of money. Obviously, that helps, and food is good. Food is a good starting spot, and that costs money.
Yeah.
But it's also being involved with it, and when you see what's going on and how beautiful these animals are, and the abuse that they endure and suffer, it brings you into that community.
Right.
And once, with knowledge, with understanding, there's healing.
Right.
In that, right? But it has to start with knowledge. You have to see what's going on. And when you see these things, I mean, it's like, this isn't just a freak YouTube video. This is a day in the life type thing, you know?
Right, right.
And with no excuse. This one's actually in town, but there's a lot of rural situations that people, don't get much attention.
Exactly.
So, anyways.
Well, thank
really
you for
cool.
sharing that. That's
Absolutely.
really wakes me up to what's happening. And Allie's, looks like she's got your x-ray machine all set up.
About to be jamming here.
All right. And the reason why we're doing the x-rays is to do what at this point? Specifically?
To know where the bone is.
To know where the bone is. Okay.
Yeah, the most the most general statement on that is to know where the bone is.
Okay.
Because as we're bringing the soft tissue tighter and tighter, so there's more normal movement, we need to know where that bone is normally.
What?
Yeah, I've got those other things too, Allie. Just the stands. Let's just try it like that real quick.
Okay. Can you hold him?
Yeah.
Tell me, we just took care of one of the horses, which I'm showing that the foot is much better. So what was the situation that they had?
Well, due to the fact that her feet are so overgrown, she does have some laminitis and some demineralization of that coffin bone, which is essentially when the coffin bone angle shifts because of how the hoof is growing.
Yeah, so let me just show them the one we haven't had time to work on yet, that you guys will be working on. It's time consuming. It's a pretty big job.
We've been here all morning already. Back up, honey.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
I know.
But you can't take any more off.
It looks like there's some
Go ahead.
bony column rotation, as well as
Look at that skating thing.
capsule. Yeah, that's a lot. That's demineralization. That's a remodeling of the coffin bone, and the wall kind of follows it. So, to some degree, that dishiness is never really going to go away.
Okay.
But we can
the damage
manage
done,
it.
so we can manage it.
It's a management thing now. Yeah.
Manage it elementary at the schools.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, the gram, sorry.
Here's where we see Dr. Mike is taking more x-rays of the other foot. See how that...
Was that one okay?
It's not ready
Still
yet.
loading. Okay.
So that's the original coffin bone, right there. And see, all of this is degenerate. This is all totally just demineralized and bone loss. So she did prolapse, and then but she healed from the prolapse to some degree. But that's my assessment on it. Pretty amazing. But these wispy lines in here, that's infection.
Is it?
Historically. I don't think it is now, hopefully. But it's once they get it in there, it can be really hard to get rid of it. So I'm not sure. But so we'll just, I mean, obviously she's the project, so let's see what we can do. All right, let's get some back pictures.
May need to.
All having little talk.
It's supposed to be instantaneous, right?
I know, right?
For the slide.
Yeah.
Chill. You're fine. You're a pushy girl, aren't you? Huh?
What a sweetheart. Hi. 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 She wanted me to pet me. Hi.
What's wrong with you? Why are you?
What a beauty. What a beauty. Hi. She's so inquisitive, isn't she?
Why do we have you, buddy?
She's so responsive.